So one area I'd like to further educate myself when it comes to Germany is German politics. I have a general interest in politics, as I'm sure a lot of people do. When it comes to British politics, our system is quite simple. We have two parties. On the right is the Conservative Party, on the left is the Labour Party. In Scotland, it's a little bit different. In power are the Scottish National Party, who are trying to get independence from Scotland. So interesting system, but very simple. I want to know more about Germany's, and this video here is called The Evolution of Germany's Political Spectrum. Should be quite interesting to find out more. And the reason I want to know more is Germany's a very interesting country when it comes to politics. Obviously, it wasn't that long ago that Germany was split in two, with East Germany and West Germany, so I'm interested to know how that affects the political situation in Germany. And obviously in Europe at the moment there's a lot of big subjects and talking points like climate change, the immigration problem, the war in Russia and Ukraine, of course. And I want to know how that affects politics and how it affects people's opinions and their choice of political party and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to learn more about the spectrum in Germany. For me, when it comes to voting, I like to take each individual vote separately, educate myself as much as possible on the candidates and parties at that time, and then make a decision from there. I'm interested to know your thought process or how you go about voting. But let's check this one out first so we can talk about it more.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about political parties? Maybe colors? If you're from the United States, did your state vote red or blue?
Yeah, red or blue.
Or maybe it's turning purple. Maybe you wish you had more colors to choose from. Well, unlike the US two-party system, Germany's parliamentary democracy is much more colorful.
So we've got many parties.
In fact, around 40 political parties received votes in the 2017 national election.
Huge amount of parties, actually.
Over the years, many parties have come and gone, but in this video, we'll focus on the parties currently represented in Germany's Bundestag, the lower house of parliament, and talk a little bit about how they got there. First, there's the Christian Democratic Union, or CDU,
Angela Merkel's party,
and its Bavarian sister party, the Christian Social Union, or CSU. These two parties, traditionally working together, represent the center-right of Germany's modern political spectrum. Some of Germany's most famous leaders have represented the CDU, including the country's two longest-serving heads of state, Chancellors Helmut Kohl and Angela Merkel. CDU and CSU voters tend to be more conservative when it comes to both economic and civil liberties issues.
Yeah, so tell me more about those two parties. Why is that? Why does it have like two separate entities? Why does Bavaria have its own part of that political party? And yeah, how are the regions, how does it affect political parties? Are there other regions that have their own party that are highly supported, or is Bavaria just a special case? And I guess that party is probably most like the Conservative Party in the UK.
The other main party is the Social Democratic Party, or SPD. Historically known to champion workers' rights, the SPD represents the center-left and is the oldest party in Germany. The SPD enjoyed major success in the 1960s and 70s, producing some of Germany's most consequential chancellors and policy decisions, like Willy Brandt and his Ostpolitik, which improved relations between East and West Germany during the Cold War. In addition to Germany's two traditional parties, the Green Party.
So, I guess that's similar to the Labour Party with regards to working like trade unions and that sort of thing. It had the colour of Germany there, where it looked like East Germany was more the red and the rest of Germany, West Germany was more blue. Is that something that is still seen today? And how have these parties changed over time? Have their views changed? Have they moved along the political spectrum either way? Has the left become more left or more right-leaning? Does it change with the different leaders of the party? Yeah, tell me more about those. I guess those are the two main parties in Germany.
Or simply, the Greens, have become a constant fixture in German politics. The Green Party evolved out of environmentalist, anti-nuclear, and anti-war protest movements in the 1970s. The protest movement turned political party still focuses primarily on combating climate change, but has also expanded its platform to become a mainstream center-left party. Its popularity nationwide has increased exponentially in recent years, signaling its continued influence on German politics in the future.
I think that's actually a good mentality for the Green Party, because I feel like the Green Party in the UK is like not really a serious party. Of course they have like this kind of, they're fighting for something serious, which is the environment, but they don't really focus on the rest of the political side of things. I don't feel. It feels like this Green Party is actually a bit more serious about being a real player when it comes to disrupting the traditional spectrum. Tell me if you support that Green Party. What good are they doing that's not just about the environment? And I guess with climate change, as I mentioned at the beginning, that's probably one reason why they're seeing that rise in popularity, because it's just always in the press. There's always things going on. There's always, I mean, the situation is getting worse. How is climate change actually affecting Germany? Tell me more about that as well. Is it having a real effect on Germany as a country at the moment? Can you see any effects of it?
The Free Democratic Party, or FDP, has been a constant fixture of post-war German politics. Commonly referred to as the Liberals, the FDP can perhaps be best compared with the Libertarian Party in the United States. Traditionally, it served as a decisive partner of either the CDU or SPD to form a majority governing coalition.
Okay.
Similar to the Libertarians across the Atlantic, the laissez-faire FDP tends to be center-right, aligning itself with the CDU on economic issues, but also center-left, aligning itself with the SPD and Greens on civil liberties issues.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask, because it doesn't obviously look like... it looks like when you have more parties that it may be more difficult to get an actual majority for one party, so I was thinking what sort of collaborations or connections these parties actually have. So it looks like they actually hold some decent power and have got a decent voting base actually.
Since the reunification of Germany in 1990, the East-West divide has narrowed, yet remnants of a divided Germany remain. Residual economic and social differences have forced German politics to become more fragmented over the past 30 years. The CDU and SPD have lost ground to parties on opposite ends of the political spectrum, including the far-left Die Linke, literally meaning the left, and the far-right Alternative for Germany, or AfD.
That's what I was going. That's a good point as well. Something I never really thought about with it with regards to like having things like social media and this access. It feels like people are becoming more extreme to the left and to the right. You see in Italy, the far right party got into power in Italy. I see that in Europe quite often. There's a lot of these far right parties that are gaining a lot of votes. I think in France is also similar. Due to the migrant issue, is that a real issue? Could you ever see like a far right party gaining enough power to actually have influence in Germany? And yeah, I guess it's the same with the far left. People's like opinions and mentalities are becoming more extreme, and it's like you see these sort of parties gaining more support via that.
The left's origins are rooted in East Germany's former Communist Party, and it enjoys especially strong support in the East, where some nostalgia remains for comprehensive, cradle-to-grave support from the state. The AfD catapulted into the national spotlight in the wake of the European migrant crisis. Its highly controversial far-right, anti-immigration platform has made it a political pariah, one that is traditionally shunned by all other parties in Germany. Historically, the CDU and SPD have dominated post-war German politics. Now, other parties from all ends of the political spectrum are challenging the status quo.
Interesting.
As German politics become more diverse, it's important to know which parties there are, what they stand for, and how they work together in government.
Yes, they're working together. It's the important part, especially as it comes more fragmented. That was really interesting. I guess I can say that Germany definitely has a more interesting political system than the UK, just with regards to the sheer number of parties. And is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I guess every system's got its pros and cons. You know, with this, it like kind of dilutes the votes from like the two main parties, and it maybe it's harder to get a majority and have one party in power. But I guess that is also a good thing, that one party doesn't have too much power. But it can also mean that these smaller, more fringe parties can they can get into some power as well. So it's very complex, but very interesting. I like it. That it seems like everybody's needs are going to be satisfied by at least one of those parties there. Tell me what you think about the German political system. How's it changed over time, and how have the parties changed over time as well? Thanks.